this apartment for $6 a week. That was utilities and all. And it was one room, but we were so happy because it had everything in there. We had to go upstairs to the bathtub, into the bathroom, you know.
How many people did you share it with?
Sometimes those rooms weren't always full, but I think there was at least 4 other apartments. But one time, Grandpa came and he stayed all night with us, so we had to sleep together, you know, when he got here from California, when his daddy died. And so Daddy slept in the middle, you know, because we didn't have...
Who'd you have to sleep with again?
Grandpa died. You know.
Oh.
It's beeping. What does that mean?
Nothing.
And so then we had Daddy's trunk that he'd brought from California down at the end, and we could kind of sit on that for a seat. And, you know, it was just so much fun. And we always went to church, so. And my granny, she lived down on 16 West 15th at Oak Buggy. And she did my washing and my ironing, because I didn't really have one. She would iron Grandpa's shirts. And sometimes I would just give her the money for washing powders. But she made a lot of money doing that washing ironing. Mama's mother, you know. Oh, we were just so happy, though.
Tell them how much Grandpa gave for your first wedding ring.
Yeah.
Did he say $28 last night?
Yeah, he gave $28 for my engagement ring.
That was a lot of money, wasn't it?
And that was in California that he bought that. It was an orange blossom. And he also bought my wedding ring that I have on now. He gave that $10.
Let's see it.
Right here it is. This is my original wedding ring right there.
Okay. And how much was a hamburger at that time?
10 cents. It was down at the dollhouse. This lady, she had it named Doll, you know, and everything. But I worked too. I went to work for a lady that had 3 little kids, you know, and then I worked at this restaurant, and that day he told me to go back and make up my face, and I said, I don't wear makeup, so he laid me off, but it wasn't a big deal, you know.
Did you clean for this lady or just babysit?
And mostly babysit. She had little twins, and we had so much fun. Mrs. Collier was her name, and he was a salesman. And she had another little baby besides these little twins that was really young, so she hired me to work for her.
And how much did she pay you?
Not very much. I can't remember just right this second. But Grandpa would come with her and get me and walk me home, you know, when he got off work. We'd walk home.
And what
at that
did he
time,
do?
We didn't even have a vehicle. Well, he worked at the hatchery, and he'd come home in a truck sometime at lunch if I could be there, you know, and I'd fix lunch for him. And we lived in 3 different apartments in Okmulgee. And then there's all one room, you know. But then whenever we moved over to Morse, we got a 2-room house, but it wasn't modern or anything. You know, we had to go outside to the toilet. And Grandpa had lots of chickens over there. You see, he was working this hatchery. If anything would be wrong with the chicken a little bit, they'd give them to him, you know. But a lot of times they would live, you know. And our church was in Morse, you know. So that
How long was it before you had Dad? After you got married? How many years?
It was about, I think it was almost 2 years, you know. Because my mother told me to wait and get acquainted ourselves, you know, before, not to have a baby right at first. So I followed her advice. I thought Mama's advice was law and order, you know.
Watch her finger, Jude. I hope she doesn't.
We were just so happy. And then we had James, and then we had Jerry, and then we had Jerry, and then we had the baby Jeff. All within a 9-year span. All these, all born in the 1950s, you know. And we named them all JLDs, you know, with their initials and everything. But Jerry's had to change hers now since she got married.
Okay.
And that's the only one you had to change, right?
Yeah, Jerry is King. And I just love my kids, and my little granddaughter Judith is sitting over, getting a little bit more beautiful. She's over at the mirror now, putting on her makeup. And she's so beautiful. Anyway, James thinks she's beautiful, I know. Here comes James in. I was telling Judith about when we was first married on her phone. This phone is so nice. You know, and everything. And Susan has one too.
What you doing?
Okay.